i2R Series 6, which is a 2-foot by 3-foot machine, so it's 2 foot in X and 3 foot in Y. I can quickly think of something that I can achieve with it that normally would take me a long time to do. So for instance, some of you may have seen that I made some music note drawer pulls for a cabinet in the basement that we just finished. So to me, to quickly find an image of a music note, to scale it in my program in VCarve, and then plot it into a text file and dump it into the machine using UC CNC software, I could quickly cut up a profile out of some scrap wood that I had and come up with 3 drawer pulls for these drawers within the matter of an hour. And to me, that was a huge win versus whittling on the bandsaw and cleaning it all up with sanding and files and chisels. And plus, to be repetitive, all 3 of the music notes are the exact same shape. I had to do very little sanding on the edges. To be able to dump that onto the CNC machine and allow that to just work while I was cleaning up some other things has been a huge win for me in that project. So moving forward, I just want to get comfortable in the CNC more and more as I use it. I want to be able to offer more features to my clients and my customers as they come to me with the ability to add stuff to a project that normally it would either take me too long or it wouldn't be cost effective to do by hand or other means. It's probably one of the better tools or the best tool that I've brought in so far because the versatility that it has. It could be a planer, it could be an engraver, it could be a router, it could literally be a table saw by cutting out a pattern, or it could be a bandsaw, it could be a scroll saw, with better results and more repeatable results. So that opportunity alone makes it pay for itself. If you're doing projects that are cost-based and time-based, it's a huge benefit to add to your shop. I'm Casey with C. Reeves Makes. This is the i2R Series 6 CNC machine. Thanks for watching.
What is going on, you guys? Sarah Listy here with Cool Girls Garage. So today I am in the shop and I want to take a quick minute to talk about my CNC. So I think there has never been another product I've ever gotten so many questions about until this. I literally totally get it because I feel like going from somebody who was, did not have a CNC for so many years and doing woodworking, this is definitely something I was so curious about. So I definitely can understand the curiosity. So hopefully I can answer a couple questions and maybe clarify sort of what drew me to wanting a CNC and also how I feel about it now that I've owned one. Okay, so we're just gonna jump into it. So first things first, I really wanted a CNC for a few reasons. Obviously, we see all kinds of cool projects created with a CNC and we see the doors it can open. But for me, what I really was focused on was the ability to increase production and to be able to offer more products at mass. And that's definitely something I know a lot of people who are looking for CNC work from a business standpoint, that's really appealing to them. That was definitely what sort of sold me on the CNC in general. I would definitely tell you guys that a CNC is definitely not a replacement for traditional woodworking. I think, though, that what it can offer you is an incredible amount of precision and accuracy and time savings that can really, really help your business grow and be more profitable. That's a really huge point for me. So in terms of CNCs, when I started really researching it and what was sort of drew me to the i2R system was, there's a massive difference in size and format of CNCs. You have those really sort of, hobby grade desktop sort of CNCs, which are amazing. I know tons of people have had great luck with it, but I knew that wasn't really going to be an option for me. It was going to be too limiting, and I really wanted a machine I could sort of grow with. And so I knew I wanted something larger than that, but I also did not want a massive 4x8 or 4x10 industrial CNC. I knew I did not have the capability to power that CNC here in this shop, and I just wasn't really looking for that much production to justify that kind of cost. But I also, sort of in comparing the two, I knew there was a big difference in build quality and sort of, the equipment and the materials that went into those machines. And so that was really sort of what brought me to the i2R. So obviously for me, you guys, the i2 has been a perfect size. It's sort of that perfect middle ground between, the smaller scale projects where you can still really do those easily and simply, whether it's cutting boards or dishes or trays or what have you, but you can still really do a lot with, furniture building. So I make a lot of templates on the CNC, which I've really loved, but as well, anything from, cabinet doors and drawer fronts, the 2x4 foot space really does not limit you in those applications. It's really rare I'd need something bigger than that. And in times when I have needed something larger than what my personal CNC can sort of cut, what I'll end up doing is just making it in 2 pieces or 3 pieces if needed. But for me, that has been such a rarity that I feel very comfortable that I went with the ideal size for my shop. And I'm sure that a lot of people sort of fit in that category. I did not want to give up half of my shop for a CNC, but I also wanted
our product, but for you, if you're making a product and you're trying to get noticed, how do you stand out amongst all these people, right? So within the last 2 years, 90% of the data in the world today was created. So the attention span
Wait, I'm
of
sorry.
people
What?
that are viewing, Yeah, 90% of the data in the world today was created within the last 2 years.
Like all data, including
like
books,
all the content,
all
like
through time?
everything digital. Yeah.
Jesus.
So how do you? So you're competing.
That's insane.
So you're competing against companies, individuals, everyone, and especially spam. So how do you get noticed? And the way to do that is creating value, right? You have to create value for people, and the value for me and our brand is really the relationships that you establish with whoever is on the other end that's seeing you for the first time. You have to get noticed. You have to grab people's attention, right? So what is the number one attention for you when you're out there shopping for something that you're interested in, right? So the interest level there for me when it comes to marketing is when I see a page that offers the value, and the most value to me is one, the quality, right? The quality, not just of the product itself, but the people. Like, are they someone I want to do business with? Are you someone that is trustworthy? Are you someone that's going to say what you're going to do? And for me, I forgot to mention, I handle all the sales mostly and all the relationship building. And the biggest concern I have on a personal note is having met someone that is not genuine. I think that's the biggest concern everyone has when we're shopping out there. Like, how do you pick amongst all these millions of people out there, businesses and content, right? So for us, it's trying to get to know you behind the camera, and for us trying to show you what we do. And the reason we're doing these webinars now is because we want to show you what we're doing here and also educate you and teach you something that you might not have known. Not everyone's going to go out there trying to offer you a free course, right? And a lot of times what that equates to for us is setting up these free sessions, giving you as much power in terms of knowledge so that you're prepared to go out there and do it on your own too if you have that interest. So that's what it means to me, trying to stand out and what's our value proposition. Let me share with you our value proposition actually, which we talked about. So for us at i2R CNC, our value proposition is we help business owners increase their production efficiency by optimizing workflow, automating repetitive tasks, and increasing their bottom line. So stimulating individuals' creativity amongst communities and empowering them to bring their ideas to life. That's, in a nutshell, what we do and our value proposition. So let's get back onto the data sharing and letting you guys know of the statistics, and we can pass it around.
Does anybody here actually sell things with online, or they try to do like a side hustle type of thing? If you do, say something in the chat. If not, we'll keep going.
It goes for either stream, any of the streams.
Yeah.
We're cross-platform right now.
Yep. Well, I mean, what we do is like we take content and we try to think about, you know, what, like, just ask yourself, like, what makes you stop and look at an ad? You know, like, what do you like? Something that he likes, like quality. I think for me it's mostly something I can relate to, something that maybe I need in my life. Just maybe I have a problem that I need solving, or something someone says that kind of like hits you in the spot, you know, that kind of thing. That's usually what does it for me.
For me, it's usually if the commercial is down to earth, they're not too flashy, they're trying to present what the quality is of that advertisement. So I would say, in my opinion, there's certain things, like especially in gaming, you will want to look specifically, like Sunny was mentioning, it has exactly the quality that you're looking for, especially the specs. And tying it down, you don't want to just invest something you don't trust. Let's say, for instance, if it costs $2,000 or $3,000, you also want to find out as well if they have a community, that specific group, and you want to do a little bit of research on that specific individual. Since a lot of times after they sell you a product, you don't know what you're getting into. So usually there's a sense of fear purchasing, and you always want to know if someone's going to help you afterwards, the after sale process. So yeah, it's usually, mostly has to be grounded, I'll say.
Okay, so it's kind of like building trust.
Yeah,
I guess.
building trust in the company.
Gaining your trust before you buy something.
Yeah.
What about you, Pat? You got something?
What I like in ads?
Yeah. What you know, what connects with you? What makes you stop and look at an ad? Usually.
Well, definitely a big thing. I mean, relatability is a big part of it, but and they say this too in a lot of ads and content, you know, informational sessions or anything like that, is just if it's solving a problem. So typically if it's something that I'm involved with, one, because if I'm not part of that world, I'm not going to look at the ad or the content or anything like that. But if it's something that I've run into in the past and I know that I struggle with this every time I try and do it, and then all of a sudden this product shows me like, hey, it's easy if you just give me money and get this thing, then I'll typically give it a go. Other than that, yeah, something that looks cool always gets my attention. I saw this one thing that was just a little like motor, and it shot a string, and it made it look like the string was levitating. I was like, I would buy that, but yeah, it was still in prototype stage. Didn't buy it. How do you make your content? How do I make my content process? Thanks, Tony, for reaching out. Typically, specifically with i2R content, it's mainly just trying to think of any kind of value that I could add to any of our current users or anybody looking into CNC, or somebody who wants to make something but maybe they don't have a woodworking background or any kind of maker's background. So really just trying to either give tips, show the possibilities of the machine, or anything of that sort, and trying to show it in the most accessible way, either if it looks nice or if it's just easy to put up and get the information across. Any of those would probably be my biggest concern. What's up, Airfan? Airfan? Irfan. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but what's up? Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for joining. Sonny, you got ads you like?
Ads that I like. Well, when it comes to ads, typically, I think nowadays the stat is you have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. So people's attention spans are extremely short. And the thing I would recommend is if you're trying to create something and even trying to selling one of your signs, you probably want to put that end result first with a type of message that is clear and concise about what that type of sign will do for them. Maybe it's like the sign you've been waiting for your entire life. This is the sign you've been waiting for your entire life. That could like be the message. And then the product itself, it's something that you fresh cut, you finished, and it's placed up somewhere on a storefront maybe, or even your office. And then how do you take that same piece of content and translate that into even more content? That would be maybe creating a how-to blog or a how-to short clip of, this is how I'm gonna decorate my brand new office at home, my home office, because we're all working from home now. So since you're working from home, you might not have had your office set up. So maybe I'm gonna use this freshly used sign, put it up on my wall, show a how-to of when it was created, and maybe give you some insight on my thought process on creating that content. So it drips down from this one thing, and then you break it down to multiple pieces of content that you can split up. So let's talk about YouTube. YouTube's more a long-term form of content. So let's say you have a 10-minute video of you creating your sign that you made that you want to sell, and you recorded that entire process. Now you have a 10-minute video, okay? Now there's also YouTube Shorts. You take that same long format video, chop it up into shorts, and each of those, that's how you break out your how-to. So you have your how-to of, this is how I made my sign, this is how I came up with the idea, this is how this sign benefits me, and this is what I like about it. And you talk about that. From there, you would be able to add that over to Instagram. So that's another short form. And then you could take those same pieces of content, create photos, and that's a sequence that you can use to create your content and flow, all from one idea and one product. So that's kind of how I would go through the process of creating. And it's not just like the ad itself, because ads are great and all, but at the end of the day, if we're talking about like Facebook, for example, ads are so expensive now. Think about the free type of content out there. Everything I mentioned is free. You just go on there and you do it. And from there, you'll be able to get known and grab people's attention with it. Was the Muhammad Ali sign behind you made with a CNC? What material? Actually, great question.
Better believe it was.
It
made
is
on
Muhammad
CNC.
Ali. At first, if you asked Joel what that sign was, he thought it was a cat.
Yeah. If you
So-
come close,
That's
you can't distinguish it.
Yeah,
So-
it works better from a distance.
So Pat is the one that came up with the design and machined it on the i2R. So I'll let him talk more about that. Great question.
Yeah, thanks for inquiring. Hey, thank you. So also for the other streams, he was asking about this sign. Somebody on our Instagram stream. But so this was just an idea that I wanted to try out because we have a lot of really blank walls. We moved into this new space a while ago, but then you got to focus on the business. You can't be focused on interior decorating. So our walls just kind of stayed blank, and I kept trying to think of ways to make bigger projects while still being constricted to a 2x4 or a 4x4 machine. Because luckily we have an executive series on the floor here that we can use, so we at least have 4x4 capability. But even for people who just have a 2x4, I know there are a lot of different ways to optimize space on a cut. Parametric wall art is one great way to do it, and that's something that I would love to try, but that also involves some 3D modeling, which I'm not super comfortable with yet. But then with this project, I thought if there was a way to slice an image into sections that could be broken up between different machines or different paths with the machine, then you'd be able to print something that's essentially 4 feet tall and then infinitely long. So I just took a picture of the Muhammad Ali one, put it into high contrast in Photoshop, sliced it into equal sections, and then brought that into Vectric, made the what are they called, vectors, and was able to slice that up. I'll hold the audience. I was able to slice that up, and then I believe I ended up cutting this on the exec still, so it was a 4x4. It was made with MDF that I painted black at first. I was able to cut it on the exec because of the vacuum hold down clamp. It just made it easier. But yeah, MDF painted black, done on a 4x4, but could have easily been done on a 2x2. Would have just taken one extra run at the machine. So yeah, thanks for asking about it. I love talking about these projects. So if anybody else has any other questions about any content we've posted or anything like that, just put it in the comments.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any other questions in the chat that we missed? Let's see. Okay. And then
I think there's another point that I don't think we touched on is like for marketing and promoting, you should think about who you're trying to reach, who you're trying to sell to, who you're trying to get the attention from, and what does that person like. So you could kind of try to connect it with them. Maybe you could even think about what their hobbies would be, what their age, and where they hang out, what kind of brands they like, what kind of vibes with them, so you can create content and vibes and feels to kind of cater to that person, and that's been proven to be very effective.
And also, I'd add to that, especially probably in a lot of our viewers' case, a lot of what you do is probably a labor of love to a certain extent. So it's also just what you like, because you're going to be relating to people who have similar interests as you. And I feel like no matter who you are, there is a niche out there that will relate to what you like. So if you just think about it through that lens too, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more fun to create different things.
Yeah, and I just noticed one thing completely off topic. I noticed we are all wearing gray. This was completely not planned, so I thought that was pretty funny. But back on point.
Wait, none of us are wearing gray.
No, it's just
I'm wearing gray.
That's a light blue.
We're all
gray.
different shades. Of
That's a blue.
Different
This is a
shades of
teal.
shades of gray.
That's kind of a blue.
Alright,
All right, we're figuring out Sonny's colorblind. This week on Shoot the Chips, Sonny is colorblind.
But yeah,
Undiagnosed.
getting back on topic though, that thing with quality versus quantity, I wanted to share a thought I just had. When it comes to marketing, definitely it's the quantity that you want to focus on. You want to take that massive action and just put out that content, because again, as we mentioned, the statistics, you're competing against billions of people, right, for that 3 second of attention. So that quantity, no matter what it is, just put it out there, pretend like nobody's gonna see it. Even if one person sees it, that's a success. But when it comes to quality, when we talk about quality, it's the quality of your product, and that quality is what's gonna sell itself. So you need a combination of both, right? So where marketing is all about quantity and massive action, when it comes to the product, it's the quality that really matters, and you really, really want to be sure you're hitting both of those points. The next transition topic I would kind of go with is discipline. So the discipline that you have leads to the habits that you possess, and those habits lead to consistency, right? So the consistency is what leads to growth. That's why when it comes to marketing, it's very important to plan out your process and be consistent in what you're doing. So that leads me to talk about the content creation, right? The weekly plan that you try to put out for your platforms, and that's everything. So if we go over to like what we do as far as our weekly content creation, we typically try to do at least one article or blog a week. And as far as emails, I'm sure for people who've been with us for a while now, you've been shotgun blasted with a lot of our emails, and that's on purpose, because we want you to always think of us. We want you to be in your minds. We always want you to come back, and when you do come back, we want that type of email or blog article to be very informative for you. So it's always going back to that value creation. We're always thinking of how can we benefit you guys. So from there, that's what we do. So if you get a lot of emails, great, put it in the chat. Let us know if you've been getting hit with all our emails. If not, then we need to send you more. Okay. For Facebook, we try to do at least 2 Facebook posts a day, 2 Instagram posts a day, 2 Instagram stories per day, and then right now we're only doing 1 weekly live stream. Eventually we're gonna try to do Clubhouse. If anyone's on Clubhouse, let me know. We're trying to start doing that as well. That's gonna be more about like customer success stories and learning more about you and what it is you do, and we'll bring you up on stage and you can talk. Okay. The LinkedIn, we do at least 1 post a day, and then for the long format YouTube, we try to do one a week. So that's kind of our typical schedule, and that all sounds like a lot probably, but again, it's the quantity and the massive amount of actions that you need to be taking so that you can get noticed out there versus your competition. So at the end of the day, that's how you're gonna start dominating and taking over your space. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. That's my input for today.
Does anyone have anything to share about products that they're selling, or you want to promote your page or your product? Anybody?
Joel, you got a page you want to promote?
I don't know.
Joel, have you been
Soon
making
to be.
Yeah.
anything on your CNC at home? Have you made anything recently?
Recently, no, I haven't.
No?
I haven't gotten a chance.
Working too much. Anything else we should share? So I think the main thing is, know who you're trying to reach, make some connection with them, maybe offer to fill a void, and then, try to create something that they need. That's kind of like the path to success. And then use social media platform because it's free, and to reach people, like whatever, even if it's your business, even if it's a service business, a product business, it doesn't really matter. You can always find something to talk about and post, and just don't worry about the quality so much, because everyone is trying to work with regular people. So if you can make connections with them, then I'd say that's a win. So that's kind of what we're going over today. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add about marketing in general?
Yeah, it's a massive cliche, like the biggest you could ever have, but there is a lot of truth probably into the whole. You holding that for me? Nice. Into the whole sentiment of like just be yourself. Super cliche, surface level. It doesn't mean much, but it kind of comes back to the whole thing of like you're doing this because you love to do it. So other people are going to have similar interests as you, and you'll be able to connect with them if you're just honest about who you are, what you do, what you're about. And I think that goes a really long way on these platforms just because there can be a lot of performativeness, and when you see authenticity, it comes across in a really nice way. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't be afraid of, whoever you are and however you portray that. So
Yeah, and if you guys are interested in doing a clubhouse, put in your email address in the chat, and then we can add you to that, and you'll get live updates on when we actually do schedule and do them. Okay.
All right, I guess that about wraps it up for today. If anybody has any questions about anything? By the way, if anyone is interested in a 3D printer, we are offering a special deal for 10 people to get it for a very special pre-order price. So if you are interested, or if you're in the market for a 3D printer, just DM us 3D and we'll send you the information. So just DM us and 3D.
Yes, for $100 you could get a 3D printer reserved. So this is our newest product out there. Nowhere else are they doing something like this. So let us know, put in your email, and we'll update you as it comes. There's only 10. So
Only 10
we
spots.
just announced this on Tuesday?
Yeah,
I think,
just this
Tuesday.
week.
Yep, right. Okay. Also, one more thing, we're gonna try to start bringing in guests onto this. So if you're interested in being a part of this show and you want to come on and just talk about what you do, I know a lot of the focus that we've been talking is like business related, but if you even are a hobbyist, we'd love to know more about what you're doing as a hobby and what you do aside from your hobby, your full-time job. We just want to know more about you, and that way everyone can know that it's not just for businesses, it's for hobbyists also. A lot of people that buy our machines love that we have this mindset, and even if you're a hobbyist, you definitely have that creative spirit. So put it in the chat, let us know, and we'll reach out to you and get you scheduled for one of these lives, and we can interview you and talk more. Awesome.
All right, thanks guys. Have a good one. See you next week.